being fined thousands of dollars every month by his homeowners association. NBC7's Rory Devine is live in Oceanside to explain why this is happening. Rory?
Well, I have new information, but let me just give you some background first. The Arrowhead Homeowners Association says this is a single-family neighborhood for single families. This is not a place, like this house behind me, this is not a place for what the HOA calls mini dormitory apartments. So to avoid all the fines, $2,000 a month, adding up so far to $12,000, what's the landlord? Why not just rent to a single family?
My Marines have done nothing wrong. They're great neighbors, they're great tenants, and they're serving our country honorably.
Zarowski bought his first house in 2005 with 6 bedrooms, 6 baths. The second house in 2008 with 6 bedrooms, 4.5 baths. 6 Marines or Marine vets to a house who each pay $650 to $750 a month rent. Never a problem, he says, until about 11 years, until the HOA said he is running mini dormitories in violation of the rules that say the houses are for single families. Andrew Smith just got out of the Marine Corps last month. He's now going to school. He's been renting from Zarowski and hopes he won't have to leave.
Honestly, if I move out, that's unfortunate. I'll have to spend a lot more money a month. But hopefully it doesn't happen.
I sum it up as hypocrisy. The board of directors says that they support the troops, yet they're willing to kick out Marines out of my 2 homes and put them financially at a disadvantage. It's hypocrisy.
One neighbor did say that the Marines are good neighbors and she's not had a problem. Another told me, though, it's not the noise, it's the turnover. The fact that people are coming and going, cars are coming and going, and they don't know who those people are. Now, here's new information that I just learned. I'm sorry to say it's coming to me so late. I just found this out when chatting with a neighbor. Apparently, there was a sexual offender living in the house about 11 months ago when this all started. I called the landlord and said, what's up with the sexual offender? And he says, yes, let me tell you the truth. The fact of the matter is there was a Marine veteran who got out of prison and who was a sexual offender. He said he knew that, but he said the guy was not a sexual predator, so he wanted to give him a chance. When the neighbors found out about this, checking Megan's Law, he says the place exploded, and that's when the neighbors went to the HOA and said, you need to shut this place down. So earlier in the day, before I had that information, I did reach out to the president of the Homeowners Association for Arrowwood Community, and he said he was not able to comment on pending litigation. So the story just became thicker. Reporting live, I'm Rory Devine, NBC7.
Yeah, definitely multifaceted. Okay, thank you, Rory.
Yeah.
In a Vista courtroom, the family of a murdered Army reservist told the judge their son's killer is pure evil. NBC7's Wendy Fry spoke with the victim's family, who said the defendant is adding to their pain by prolonging court proceedings even after pleading guilty. Wendy.
Yeah, Mark, Ashley, I just feel for this family. First, they lost their son, and now they've had to face his killer in court for 5 long years. We got to look at the defendant, Kevin Kosei, again in court. His sentencing day finally came despite years of delay. The family said they felt he was manipulating the legal system by insisting on representing himself. During the past 5 years, he has refused to answer the court and even protested coming to court by not leaving his cell. Even today, he refused to answer a judge's routine procedural question. And the family's grief was just palpable inside and outside of the courtroom. Meanwhile, Kosei showed no emotion. In March, he entered a guilty plea 1 hour into his murder trial for killing 23-year-old Alvin Bolero in a Fallbrook motel in 2012. He admitted to stabbing him more than 40 times as the victim pled for his life. Today, the family of the victim told the court that the murder was just 3 days before what was supposed to be a big Christmas family reunion. The first time all 3 of their sons would be together in the United States.
I want you to be in prison to the rest of your life. Your you're such a coward.
Our family is really close. We're really tight knit. We're strong. My aunt, my uncle, my cousins, they're strong. They're gonna be okay. It's just this hole that he left.
Most especially, you're born with no heart.
And that victim's mother, English learner, and she called him a coward and also said he had no heart. A judge sentenced Kosei to 51 years to life. But if they were hoping for closure, it didn't come today. Kosei immediately filed an appeal based on ineffective counsel. And since he represented himself, it is possible that he gets a new trial. Reporting live from Vista, I'm Wendy Fry, NBC7.
All right, Wendy, thank you for that update.
Supermarket mogul wanted for a grisly murder is now in custody.
Yeah, the former co-owner of the Presidente supermarket chain is in a Spanish jail waiting to be extradited to the United States to face those charges. NBC6 reporter Ari Adzer is live in downtown Miami with the latest on this one. Ari.
He's not running anymore, Trina. Police in Madrid arrested the co-owner of the Presidente supermarket chain. Manuel Marin had been a fugitive in Spain for 7 years. Police there found him outside of the U.S. Embassy. They're not sure why he was there. Maybe he was going to turn himself in. Regardless of the circumstances, police here in Miami-Dade County say with his arrest, they've got 3 of the 4 men they're looking for in this murder now in custody. It was big news in Spain. Manuel Marin is splashed on the front page of the Spanish newspaper El País. He's on the left. One of his co-defendants, Alexis Villa-Perdomo, is on the right.
And now the extradition process has begun. Because this is international, it may take a little bit of time for this to happen, but we're optimistic that soon we'll be able to have Manuel Marin on U.S. soil.
Marin was the co-owner of the Presidente supermarket chain, but he suddenly fled the country, moving to Spain immediately after a gruesome murder on the edge of the Everglades in 2011. Camilo Salazar was found with his throat slit, his hands were bound behind his back, and his body was partially burnt.
This is like a Carl Hiaasen novel.
A few months ago, police arrested Roberto Isaac and former MMA fighter Villa-Perdomo and announced Marin was the mastermind of the killing, saying his motive was clear. Salazar was having an affair with Marin's wife. So the wealthy supermarket chain executive flew to Spain and stayed there. And here's where the story gets even more tangled. An investor in the Pincho Market restaurant chain, former NFL star Jonathan Vilma, is suing the company, and it involves the Salazar murder. Prosecutors said one of the Pincho partners, Yadiel Marin, who lives in this Miami Beach mansion, has been sending money to his father in Spain, Manuel Marin, bankrolling his fugitive status. Vilma says he never would have invested if he had known that information. So the Pincho Factory's lawyer told the Miami Herald Vilma's lawsuit has no merit whatsoever. Now, as for the murder case, we mentioned a 4th suspect. Miami-Dade police say he is in Canada, in the Vancouver area, and they're hoping that he is brought to justice sometime soon as well. We're live in Miami. Ari Adzer, NBC6 News.
We have new information about the crash of a Miramar-based helicopter near El Centro that killed all 4 Marines on board.
NBC7's military reporter Bridget Naso is here with what we also have learned. Bridget.
That's right, Mark and Catherine. The names of the crew with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing who died in the 53E Super Stallion are not yet being released by the Marine Corps. We do expect they'll do so tomorrow. This as the investigation into the crash is getting underway. This is where the 4 Marines with the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing out of MCAS Miramar went down Tuesday afternoon. The 4 in a 53E Super Stallion conducting aircraft landings as part of squadron training in a remote area 15 miles west of El Centro. The Marine Corps telling NBC7 the aircraft departed the Strategic Expeditionary Landing Field at Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center 29 Palms. Rich Martindale, retired Air Force accident investigator, says the nature of training is in and of itself dangerous.
So the only difference is you're not getting shot at.
The investigation into what happened will be detailed, says Martindale. First, a look at the wreckage for clues to the cause, the aircraft history, maintenance records, the pilot and crew history, and flight data.
It's a very long, involved process. It's got to be arduous. It's got to be thorough so you get the right answer.
The last deadly crash for the aircraft, 2 Super Stallions collided off the coast of Hawaii in 2016, killing 12 Marines. And another crash in 2017. All Marines on board survived, but the aircraft was destroyed. Martindale says each incident must be looked at independently, but it's no secret the U.S. military's aircraft are aging.
You will find that a lot of places will have a lot of aircraft sitting on the ground because they're not maintenance ready. And the reason is they're stealing parts from those airplanes to keep the ones they can flying.
And again, we still don't know the circumstances surrounding that specific crash. In some cases, the military will issue a stand down of aircraft for a period of time. We have got no word of that for the Marine Super Stallions following yesterday's crash. And while we wait for the identities of the Marines to be released from the military, we know there are families right here in San Diego coping with a terrible loss tonight. Bridget Naso, NBC7.
He spent 30 years serving as an officer in the Marines. He deployed to Vietnam twice. He participated in operations in Honduras, Beirut, Norway, the Philippines, Kuwait, and Desert Storm. Retired Colonel Robert Gibson, known as Falcon, was highly decorated.
But for all of his bravery and all of his calmness while in action, there was one thing that Colonel Gibson's family says did not keep him calm. That was our traffic, right here in Northern Virginia.
You see, Colonel Gibson's family posted an obituary for him in the Washington Post this past Sunday. And among the lines was this tongue-in-cheek gem. A native of Northern Virginia for the last 30 years of his life, he hated how all of you were incapable of driving competently. Did he have a good sense of humor?
Wonderful sense of humor. Got him in trouble on occasion in the military, but he had a great sense of humor, yes.
Barbara Gibson was Colonel Gibson's wife for 36 years. She smiled as she told us stories from his days of driving. She says her sons actually came up with the idea for the line in the obituary.
My sons who listened to him come home and complain colorfully about drivers that he encountered.
Now, we took the obituary out and read it to some drivers who agreed with the colonel. Do you think he's got a legitimate gripe here?
Yeah, I think so. Of course.
Others grinning ear to ear. It made you smile, though.
Right. It made me smile because it's funny because I think we see he's smiling too in his picture, so I think we dealt with the same things.
Colonel Gibson was buried with full military honors at Arlington National Cemetery, but not before one last salute to those out on the road. In Northern Virginia, Adam Tuss, News 4.
Local Marine was reunited tonight with 3 stray dogs he fell in love with while deployed overseas. And now they are on their way to forever homes. NBC7's Ashley Matthews was there for the emotional reunion.
It's been a moment Captain Kyle Watkins has been waiting for months.
They were at a local Iraqi base that we were working at, and they really just became our companions.
The Marine was deployed in Iraq for 7 months, and during that time, fell in love with a little piece of Iraq for 7 months, and during that time, fell in love with a little piece of home.
I've been telling my wife about these dogs the whole time. She's like, fine, I know these dogs mean a lot to you. Bring as many home as you can. So we did.
He, along with some fellow Marines, contacted SPCA and Operation Baghdad Pups. And from there, they let fate take its course.
Come here.
Wednesday night, 3 dogs arriving in San Diego after being apart from their beloved friend for months. But they remembered him well, greeting him with the sweet sound of a happy tale.
So that's Rooster. That's cool. She's the shy one.
Welcoming them to their new home.
Hey, sweetie. Hey, there's a good girl.
The dogs are still puppies, all being under 2, and now starting a whole new life.
We're really glad we can come bring them back and give them some good food and give them a warm place to sleep at night and actually give them some love.
Reporting from San Diego,
Long time no see.
Ashley Matthews, NBC7.
Long time no see is right. Nice story, huh?
Yeah.
Isn't that great? So 3 dogs in all made the trek all the way from Iraq. Captain Watkins has adopted 2 of them. The third is being adopted by a Marine who was on the same deployment.